It's my great pleasure to introduce Tyikim Ford. Tyikim is the person who, when I was working in Catherine campus and wanted to grow what I could do and join more into the life of the university, this is the person I spoke to, and the person who actually ran the interview panel, I think, that I was then on. Very terrifying group of 10 people. And she's been a mentor and someone who has really helped me with my thinking about my practice here at the university for a very long time and how we engage with communities. She's also led now projects that are starting to think about the role of language and Indigenous knowledge in the university and how do we make that central part of life rather than something that's on the periphery or on the edge. And I think that's something she's achieved at this place. I'm really pleased to be able to have her here today to talk about the work she's done on the Tyikim language work, and that's been supported by the university initially as we thought this was so important. And the role of apps and mobile devices, which we know is the future for a lot of our work. And she and Ian have been really doing some thinking about how we can grab that technology and make it work for us. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the talk, and I'm so sorry I'm running to the next meeting now.
Okay,
thank you.
Okay. I was going to introduce Ian. Ian's been working with Marrithiyel language for his Masters and PhD back in the 80s and 90s. And in the last 5 years I've been in touch with him, about 5 years ago, and said, Ian, my daughter, Emily, had this brilliant idea when we were working within the Barwick and Ellen Barrett and the Marranunggu family to learn languages through the RNLD method of mentoring, and it's regional, revitalising linguistic diversity. Anyway, Margaret was heading that up, and Emily didn't quite like that methodology that they were using of construction, just repeating the word over and over again. And she said to me, I'm learning Spanish in year 11, and look at this, Mum, and she showed me a phone, and here was a smartphone app on there with Spanish language that you could learn. She said, why don't you do this for us, younger generation, so that we can learn language through using a smartphone app as well as listening to you talking. So I said, okay. So ever since then I've been applying for small grants with Ian and Bruce Birch. And Bruce Birch is an expert in crowdsourcing. And when we applied for the LIBA grant, the committee gave us enough money for Ian and I to do what we had to do, but didn't give us the money to employ Bruce. So what Ian and I have done is talked to Bruce about that, and he said, oh no, we'll wait for some other grants to come along and then he'll get back involved. So what Ian and I decided to do is we put in a variation to the grant that we got, and I'll talk a bit more about that. Now, I think I might give Ian on this. Not unless you want to try and lower it up. You got his phone number? Okay. So, this is the background, the abstract, to our language project. So basically what I've just told you is what I've just spoken about. And what's it done?
Mouth calling.
Okay, leave it. He's probably blocked us now. Turn it off. So I'll just let you have a read through that and see if we can get in. No luck today. Thank you. We won't try again. That will do. So this is, have you finished reading this? Yep. Almost. in the early stage, we got a grant through NIRICA, the National Indigenous Research and Knowledge Network, which I'm the CI on a special initiative grant from ARC with 21 other universities. And all of us are Indigenous researchers, academics in those universities. And we were able to start looking at the prototype of a smartphone app. And Ian and Bruce and I went out and trialled that with family members from Daly-Wogait and my communities at Tyikim and Marranunggu and Marranunggu. And we thought that was great, so we applied for another one, a small grant through NIRICA and through LIBA, and then we got just almost under $5,000 to do this project now. So we'll just go through this. So the objective of the project will extend the Indigenous knowledge framework with Marranunggu, developed by myself in 2005, my PhD, and 2010 when I published my book based on my PhD. There are principles in that based on the harvesting and processing of the traditional cycad nuts. And the theoretical framework is couched in my PhD about how to engage with Indigenous people, basically. And I use that as a metaphor or an analogy and for collaborative processes. And the process is you have to fire the country to get the right germination of flowers, to stress the plant to get the flowers on the cycads. And then if you want, depends what time of the year you do the burning, you can get a small crop or a bigger crop of nuts. So when you, so it might take up to 2 years to prepare for a big ceremony, for example. So it's knowing when to fire the country and what you want and how many people are coming. So there's lots of preparation in all of this. And it's in the model itself, there's a couple of, well, you can see my PhD online through Australian thesis. And the book is Aboriginal Knowledge Narratives. And I've got a copy in my room if you want to have a look at that later. I should talk it down. But I was in a fluster about the IT. Anyway, so I have published about this process. And a lot of my, the ARC that I've just got through the Discovery Indigenous for Gower cosmology, that's the theory that underpins that, the Aboriginal theory that underpins that is the Marranunggu, and that's going to support the Gower process. And that's a whole new way of thinking for ARC people that have never come across Aboriginal theorised ways of doing research.
Excuse me, I'd love to say what he's going to want because
It's all right. He can stay. That's just like a community meeting.
Yes, don't worry about it.
Are you sure? Yeah, if it doesn't bother me. Does it bother any of you? No, look, they all got kids, I'm sure. And Dennis. Yeah, so, in order to make them palatable. So what we do is we harvest the nuts, we crack them open, take the kernel out, the petal, crush it up, and soak it in, wrap it up and soak it in the edge of the billabongs to soften it. And once it's softened, we pull it out again. That smells like feces. The blowflies come and sit all over the billabong. And then you crush it up again, and you leach it, and what that process does is it leaches out all the toxins, and the toxin is cyanide, and that's a very milky colour. So we have to, once all that's leached out over a period of about 2 weeks, you put it into the running water and crush it again until it's nice and smooth, like ground almonds, I suppose. And then you can make little cakes with it and bake it on the coals and present it to the ceremony people. So, and that's, yeah, it's a long process. It's very laborious. I've done it. It's painful. And your fingers go all black and anyway. And but the sweet bread that's made, the lava we call it, is very sweet and tasty. But you're not allowed to eat too much because it can make you sick if you're not used to it. But I can remember when we were kids, we used to race around in the dry season after the bushfires, when the nuts would shake and rattle the nuts inside the shell. And then we'd crack them open if they were dry enough and eat them.
You ate them.
As we were wandering around the bush looking for blue cones or whatever possum. Anyway, that's the life of growing up. That's probably why my knees are bugging there. Because it does affect the nervous system actually. And if cattle eat it, it gives them the rickets, it makes them lame, and eventually kills them.
Was that poison ever used as a weapon? Is that poison ever used as a weapon? Do you ever
Oh, it can be. To poison people. Definitely. Definitely. Just as I'm talking about poisoning people, the people in Guam actually do a similar process, and because there was a paper written about it, a guy called Diaz, I think, Professor Diaz. Anyway, he was saying that the people didn't do the correct process, and they were just cooking it in the microwave, and they were poisoning themselves. Because they weren't following the protocols, Aboriginal protocols for preparing the food. Very important. So anyway, in the Marrithiyel language, one of several spoken within my Mak Mak clan, the expression literally work for this country, signifies more pragmatically we work together on this country place that's here, where we are standing and looking at as a suitable location to harvest the socket nuts, nirvana, for an upcoming ceremony. Our methodology for development and testing the Marranunggu app reflects the Marranunggu approach by involving key speakers of the languages in all the phases of the project and ensuring that a good percentage of discussions, meetings, pilot sessions and documentation are carried out on the country to which the languages belong. So it's to travel all the way down to my grandmother's country, which is Marrithiyel country, is a 10-hour one way. Oh, sorry, 2 ways. Down and back. Down to Yanchapel, which is near Woody and Pepe. It's down on the Daly-Wogait Aboriginal Land Trust. And Marranunggu is here, on the Wogait Aboriginal, the Wogait Aboriginal Land Trust, which is near Litchfield Park. So that's my grandfather's language. So the significance, the project is highly innovative. Most of what we know about language maintenance and reclamation programs is based on traditional pedagogical approaches, where the core learning activities takes place in a face-to-face classroom or workshop setting. This project aims to help us understand how if less formal and more opportunistic learning as supported by apps on mobile devices might extend or perhaps even ultimately replace their traditional approach. And this section here is what was in the original application, and we've put in for the variation now. We've develop, publish and maintain Tyikim language app, and we've, instead of getting Bruce to do the app, we've asked Ben Foley, or Ian has asked Ben Foley to build a Tyikim language app utilising open source code and general interface as per the University of Melbourne Research Unit for Indigenous Languages, sponsored by Language Apps with particular specification as set by the Tyikim Project research team. Publish the app to relevant schools, maintain hosting or HeroQ web services. Is that how you say that? HeroQ? Maintain app functionality, updates as required, advise on database technical issues. Ben Foley is a third party of development who has built some 30 Indigenous languages and cultural apps for RVIL. Ethics approval. Dr. Ford's investigation commenced after seeking CDU Herrick ethics approval, which was in September.
Yay.
Adapt, review and extend Tyikim database, populate app, and the provider is Ian Green, who's a linguist at the University of Adelaide. Unify and review existing dictionary database of Marrithiyel, customising metadata and categories. And in July, when we had a bush holiday camp, Ian and Rachel Norlinger travelled around the Daly River and Wogait regions to hand back a lot of the recordings that he had made when he was a student at ANU doing his Masters and PhD. And then he came up to Bachelor and was a lecturer and linguist in Cornwall then. And that was in the 90s, and he was there for about 10 years. And he worked a lot with my mum and my uncles, my aunties, and so he was able to bring back a lot of the recordings for us to listen to. And it was lovely, wasn't it, to listen to Nana's voice and Hunger's voice. So that was, and that's all that metadata now that he's utilising to develop the smartphone app based on a lot of those recordings that he was able to gather 30 years ago. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So, and you know, 20 years ago we thought we'd keep our languages strong and ceremonies and things, but there's only a handful of us left that are speaking languages. And people like Emily, when my mum was still alive, she lived with us for 5 years, so Chloe and Emily grew up with mum speaking to them in our first languages. And then we moved to Darwin to, when they went to school, and they couldn't speak it as much anymore. So, review existing audio material and extract, edit suitable audio samples, and identify, so not only does he have that old material to extract from to put onto the smartphone app, but then he can interview us and get audio recordings. And what he's asked me to do is every now and again pick my phone up, and if I remember, you know, when I'm travelling around out on my country, to record things. But sometimes I forget about that. Because when we're out on country, we tend to use our languages more to tell the stories from sites of significance or places that are privileged in a sickness country. And that's when I start talking to Chloe and Emily, all my nieces or nephews, in language that tell them the significance of those places. But normally we speak in Creole or in English, don't we? Which is not a good thing. Often, I think, because that's how languages are not spoken enough and the other languages take over. Replace and displace those ancient languages. And I don't particularly want to lose that on my watch. Yeah. Identifying suitable illustrative photos and graphics and provide public domain and or licensed illustrative materials for apps. So what we've also been doing is taking lots and lots of photos and keeping them on the computer and on backup, so that when we do this smartphone app and have the images and the words and the sound bites to go with it, it's all pretty. It's very clever. I don't know, have you seen smartphone apps before? And how they're used? For other languages?
No, not for languages.
I've got one for Chinese I use.
Yeah.
It's really quite
Can you
handy.
show them the Spanish one? You don't have it anymore.
I have a different Chinese one.
And the one that we used early in the piece was Marranunggu from Southwest Ghana. And that was fantastic. But I've got a new phone now and I've lost that app for it. But it is available, Marranunggu. So it's capital M-A hyphen Iwaja, capital I-W A-D-J-A. So populate app database and review app and Tyikim community and revise as required, and review app and Tyikim language expert one-day workshop. So hopefully Ian will be able to come up in December at some stage before Christmas and work with some of the old people. Deal with and come. So, and some other family members that are available and accessible on that at that particular time. It's a bit like herding cats.
That's the Chinese one I'll pass that around.
But usually they're all pretty good. So project outcomes, a functioning app and database package, prototype of facilities, crowdsourcing and curation of Daly-Wogait language data will be presented at a language conference in 2016-17, and we plan to submit a publication on this at some stage. And if we're really clever, we'll apply for another ARC as well. So, and what I've found with ARCs is that they don't often approve the first one that you submit. They did my very first ARC back in 2006-07. They did. I didn't have to do anything. I got the money for that. But the last two that I've got, so don't be disheartened if you come from the house and get knocked back. If you're in the top 10%, apply again, because that's what I've done for both this ARC that I've got now for caring for ceremony and this recent one for girl cosmology.
Did you adjust too much with the exhibition?
The first one was, we called it Caring for Ceremonies. And then and I had a whole heap of experts, musicologists, working with me on that. And they said, oh, this is very good, but we don't want you to be, this is just for you because it's Discovery Indigenous, it's just for Indigenous CIs. And I went, oh. And I thought, well, what are we going to do to Linda and Alan? And so we called it New Ways for Old Ceremonies, an archival research question. So it's just a play on words and it's a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And then for this one, we called it, we got a small seeding grant from the union, we called it Aboriginal Women's Science. So we thought, oh yes, we'll just transfer that name for the ARC application. And we thought, maybe the scientists down at the ARC decided that Aboriginal women aren't real scientists. And knocked it on the head, but we got into the top 10%. So we changed it to Gower Cosmology. And got it. And this time we put in for more money.
So did they provide you like a critique?
Oh yeah,
Why they didn't fund it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you could use that to...
no, they don't do that. But what they do is when you submit your ARC, they send it out to assessors, 3 assessors, and then the 3 assessors send you back their comments.
Oh, good, okay.
And you have to respond to their comments.
Ah, right. So you get an opportunity to edit it basically, based on
Yes.
there.
Or you have to explain why you're doing these things or why you're putting in a variation. And if you don't justify it,
And then you resubmit.
yes. And you know what someone said to me today? Linda, you know what you're doing for CDU? You're holding it up above your head. I said, yeah, right. I thought that was hilarious. Anyway. And another ARC, if this grant application is successful and its anticipated project will be further developed with the submission of ARC Discovery Grant on Indigenous Sustainability of Indigenous Languages in Australia in 2017. Benefit will be to Mak Mak children and their families. So that's Roy. His mum was stolen generation, and when she was taken from our country at the age of 10, they were living at what is now known as Bamboo Creek Tin Mine, and the Department of Native Affairs came out and collected her and her brothers and sisters, so his uncle and aunties, and he's come back into the fold of the family, my family, and these are his 2 sons and his nephew, and this is his wife Liz and his youngest baby Lucy, who are now learning Marranunggu and Marrithiyel languages. So they're learning about their families. So those research grants have really been embedded and taken a lot of uptake from the family members in the region, which is fantastic. And this is Alan Marrett, Emeritus Professor at the University of Sydney, who's worked on our Wanga ceremony since 1982, I think. So he's been working with us for many, many years. And he was lecturing at a bachelor in college in those days. And with all my grandfather and my mums and uncles and aunties and dads. And that's it, folks. Any questions?